afternoon. I am Marlon Hogue, and I am uh, gonna present my muddiest points from the class so far. During this class, I have attempted to personalize some issues to achieve a clearer sense of understanding. So my muddiest points come from Unit 6, Education and the Civil Rights Movement, and freedom of speech in respect to religion and schools. All right. Education and the Civil Rights Movement. Huntsville City Schools versus the Department of Justice. I decided to bring this issue home, per se. Right now, Huntsville City Schools is currently working to close the 51-year-old lawsuit that ended a dual school system based on race here. Here's a brief overview of race in schools in Huntsville, Alabama. 1954, we all know about Brown versus the Board of Education, which pretty much got the ball rolling on desegregating schools. 1963, four black students integrate Huntsville City Schools. They were the first system in Alabama to do so. 1970, Hereford versus the Huntsville Board of Education, which forced Huntsville City Schools to desegregate teaching staffs. 2007, Huntsville began its process to seek unitary status. 4 years later, took a long time because the Department of Justice really takes these things seriously. And pretty much the Department of Justice did not give HCS unitary status, and they gave several points of why, um, which I'll get to later. 2013, the Department of Justice and Huntsville City Schools agreed on a plan to build several schools. And in doing this, like I get to just in a little bit about how they had to close and combine certain schools, which caused uproar in some communities here. 2014, negotiations fall apart over zoning lines, how they drew the lines, and how they was going to determine which neighborhood went to which high school, and it really sparked controversy all over the city. 2015, Huntsville City School Board approves new zoning lines to submit to the Department of Justice. This was just done this past Friday, actually, February the 20th. This was just completed. So what happens now is the Department of Justice will go over it and see if they've made the necessary improvements. Pretty much, Huntsville City Schools were segregated from the north side to the south. Pretty much, if you're familiar with Huntsville, pretty much every school south of Bob Wallace Avenue was pretty much Caucasian. Every school north of Bob Wallace Avenue in the city is pretty much was African American mostly. Uh, so pretty much Huntsville City Schools started in 2007 to want unitary status, so they wouldn't have to bus students from the north side to the south side. Um, so 2011, Department of Justice did not, so they had to continue. So what the new superintendent decided to do was to combine certain if it was a smaller elementary school, they closed it. Uh, they decided to build a new high school on the north side and close two of the bigger high schools, J.O. Johnson and Butler High, to combine them into one school. And that caused a huge uproar in the city. And actually, the Department of Justice did not approve that. They're ending up having to redraw those lines, and most of the Butler students will now be going to another high school, which is Columbia High, and a lot of the parents are not happy about that. Columbia parents are not happy, and Butler parents are not happy. Um, they combined a lot of the smaller elementary schools on the north side to bigger schools. They rebranded a few schools. They closed some, and it's been a hot button topic here for the last few years. They're submitting this new plan to the Department of Justice, and the running bet is that they probably still won't approve it as written because there's so many parents and families that are just up in arms about it. South side and north side. It's not just a north side thing. It's people on the south side that are not happy either. 2014, like I stated, the negotiation fell apart over the zoning lines, and it was a lot of things. The judge pointed out that she didn't think the lines, the way they drew them, would help. The judge blamed uh, Huntsville did little to prepare black students for AP courses, and then blamed the students for not taking them. Uh, the judge uh, kind of accused the superintendent for moving around application deadlines and chiseling away at court order transfer that allow black students to switch to majority white schools. Uh, the judge pointed out a lot of things that she didn't think the city did well enough to get rid of this desegregation order. So it's a drama that's continuing to go. We'll see what happens in the next few months. They're hoping that the Department of Justice won't take 4 years this time to get back to them. This will be settled probably within the next year or so. Either way, if I had to guess, I don't think they'll get it because it's clearly still. I mean, it's still segregated, for lack of a better word. North side, south side is still segregated. So we'll see how it goes. All right, the next point was freedom of speech and respect to religion in school. Uh, the last unit, we went over a Supreme Court case about kids passing out candy canes with scriptures on them. And at first, I was dead set on that shouldn't be allowed. I think the principals did what they were supposed to do. But after doing a little research, and I found a website with some frequently asked questions. And after reading a few of these, I'm kind of softening my stance, but I still have one concern, and I'll get to that in. Let's go over a few of these frequently asked questions. Do students have the right to express their religious belief at school? Yes, students have the right to share their beliefs, pray, evangelize, read scripture, and invite students to participate in such activities as long as they are voluntary, student initiated, and not coercive. Uh, Also, they can't disrupt class. Can students distribute religious material at school? Yes. However, if the material interferes with operation of the school or infringes on the right of other students, then the school can prohibit it. One last question. What can students do if their rights are being violated? Students and parents should attempt to work with school administration to resolve the situation. Uh, so I've softened my stance on religion being in schools. However, my one concern, and I mentioned this a couple of times, is right now it's Christian students bringing Christian things into the schools. We in the Bible Belt. Jesus is king around here. What happens when we get a kid that practice Islam and they want to start an Islam group to study, their, to spread their beliefs among students? Will we be as forgiving? Will we allow them to do so? What if we go super extreme and it's, into Satanism? Are we going to give those students the right to? Uh, Me personally, I don't want my kids exposed to that. We take them to church, Bible study to spread what we believe and to nurture and craft their minds and their beliefs to what my wife and I what we believe. Uh, However, if we gonna allow Jesus, we gotta allow what everybody else believes. And with us being in the Bible Belt and with things in the news outside of schools, we just had a cop pretty much paralyze an Indian guy in Madison, Alabama a few weeks ago. That's made international news. So that's going to show you that we still is not as tolerant to other people beliefs as we think we are. So when you open the door for one person beliefs, you kind of got to open it wide and let everybody in. And are we ready to allow that? That's my only issue. So those are my two muddiest points, and I've enjoyed the discussion back and forth about these things. This unit, for some reason, stuck out to me a little bit more than others. Learning about different educational philosophies. Really no muddy point there. You just increasing your knowledge base. Here you get into really mold things that could happen. Things that you could run into in school. So this has been very eye-opening for me. Here's my reference page. If you guys would like to look up those information, look up any of the information that I've given. Thank you, and you guys have a great day.